If you're cruising after May 2026, there are new rules that could stop you from boarding, increase what you pay, or completely change your trip, and most people don't even know they exist. And one of these changes? It's already catching experienced cruisers off guard. In this video, I'm breaking down 9 new cruise rules, changes, and bans for 2026, and more importantly, how to avoid the mistakes that are catching people out right now. So stick around, because one of these changes could cost you more than you expect. And if you find this helpful, make sure you subscribe for more cruise updates, travel tips, and the latest changes you need to know before you sail. Now, let's start with something that happens before you even step on the ship, and it's already causing delays. 1. New embarkation system. You can't just show up whenever you want anymore. For a while, some cruise lines experimented with open boarding, basically letting passengers arrive at the port at any time on embarkation day. On paper, that sounded convenient. In reality, it created long lines, crowded terminals, and a pretty chaotic start to what's supposed to be a relaxing vacation. So now, arrival time slots are making a comeback, and this time, they're being enforced more strictly. Here's how it works. Before your cruise, usually around 30 days out, you'll complete your online check-in. During that process, you'll be asked to select an arrival window. These time slots are limited, and they're typically first come, first served. That means the earlier you check in, the better your options. Now, here's where people are getting caught out. Some passengers either forget to select a time or assume it doesn't really matter. Then they show up at the port whenever it's convenient and end up waiting in long lines while others who followed the process are walking straight through. Honestly, this change is a fix for the chaos, but only if you play it right. If you ignore it, your cruise can start with unnecessary stress and delays. But if you use it to your advantage, embarkation day can actually be smoother than ever. So here's what you should do. The moment online check-in opens, go in and secure your arrival time, ideally the earliest slot available. Not only will you avoid the crowds, but you'll also get on board sooner, which means more time to explore the ship, grab lunch, and start your vacation the right way. 2. EU entry system, EES. This one is adding up to an hour at the airport for some travelers. Imagine this. You've just landed in Europe for your cruise. You're tired from the flight, maybe you've got a connection to catch, and you're expecting the usual quick passport check. But instead, you're directed to a self-service kiosk and now you're in a line that's barely moving. That's the new entry/exit system, or EES. This system is being rolled out across parts of Europe, and it replaces traditional passport stamping with a biometric process. Instead of just handing over your passport, you'll need to scan it, have your photo taken, and provide your fingerprints digitally. The process itself isn't complicated, but because it's new, it's creating delays at some airports. And for cruise passengers, that delay can matter a lot, especially if you're connecting to another flight or trying to reach your ship on time. Some travelers are getting through in under 15 minutes. Others, they're waiting much longer. So the smartest move here is to plan ahead. First, build extra time into your itinerary. If you can, avoid tight connections on the same day you're boarding your cruise. Giving yourself a buffer can make the difference between a smooth arrival and a stressful rush. Second, consider where you sit on the plane. It might sound small, but being closer to the front means you'll get off earlier, and that could put you ahead of a long line at the kiosks. It's one of those changes that doesn't seem like a big deal until it is. 3. UK ETA rule. Miss this one, you might not even get on your flight. If your cruise involves the United Kingdom, whether you're sailing from there or stopping as part of your itinerary, there's a new requirement you need to know about. And unlike some of the other changes, this one happens before you even leave home. It's called an electronic travel authorization, or ETA. This is essentially a pre-approval you need to apply for online before traveling to the UK. It's not the same as a visa, but it is mandatory for many travelers. And here's the key point. If you don't have it, you could be denied boarding your flight altogether. That's what makes this one so important. It's also one of those things people often overlook. You book your cruise, your flights, your hotel, and it's easy to assume your passport is all you need. Then suddenly, you realize there's an extra step, and by then, it might be too late to fix it quickly. So don't leave this to the last minute. Apply for your ETA as soon as your travel plans are confirmed. The process is usually straightforward, but giving yourself extra time ensures you won't run into any last-minute issues. And just as important, make sure you're using the official government website. There are third-party sites out there that charge significantly more for something you can do yourself at a much lower cost. This is a small step, but skipping it can have big consequences. 4. Travel scams rising. Scams targeting cruise travelers are increasing and they look real. As travel continues to rebound, so does something most people don't think about: travel-related scams. And cruise passengers are becoming a bigger target, especially with all the new rules and requirements being introduced. Here's what's happening. Scammers are taking advantage of the confusion around things like travel authorizations, entry requirements, and documentation. They're sending emails or creating websites that look official, claiming you need to urgently apply for something like a travel permit or authorization. In reality, these are fake services designed to take your money or steal your personal information. And it doesn't stop there. When you book a cruise, your data often gets shared across multiple platforms: airlines, hotels, booking sites. That means your name, email, and travel details can end up in more places than you might expect. In the wrong hands, that information can be used to create highly convincing scam messages that feel legitimate. That's what makes this so dangerous. It doesn't always look like a scam. So what can you do? First, be cautious with any email or message asking you to take urgent action, especially if it involves payment or personal details. Even if it looks official, don't click links blindly. Second, always double-check the source. If you need to apply for something, go directly to the official government website instead of using links sent to you. Taking a few extra seconds to verify can save you from a much bigger problem. Coming up next, cruise lines are quietly banning more items, and one of them might surprise you. 5. New banned items. Cruise lines are getting stricter about what you can bring on board. And this isn't just about one random item being added to a list. What we're seeing in 2026 is part of a much bigger shift: cruise lines tightening their rules and enforcing them more consistently than before. In the past, there were items that people brought without any issues, things that were either overlooked or loosely enforced. But now, that's changing. Passengers are showing up at the port with items they've always packed, and suddenly being told they can't bring them on board. A good example is wagons, which are now restricted in certain situations on some cruise lines. For families or travelers heading to beach destinations, that might seem surprising, but it reflects a broader focus on safety, space management, and crowd control. And it's not just about what's officially banned. It's also about how strictly rules are being applied. That's where people get caught off guard. Because it's easy to assume that if something was fine on your last cruise, it'll be fine again. But policies are evolving, and what worked before might not work now. So the smartest approach is simple: don't rely on past experience. Before every cruise, take a few minutes to review the latest prohibited items list for your specific cruise line. It might feel unnecessary, but it can save you from having items confiscated or delayed at boarding. In 2026, packing smart isn't just about what you bring. It's about knowing what's changed. 6. Power bank rule. This could get flagged before you even reach your cruise. Before you step foot on the ship, you still have to get there, and for many travelers, that means flying. And airlines are tightening rules around something most of us carry without thinking twice: portable power banks. Here's what's changed. Airlines are now limiting how many power banks you can bring, typically to 2 per person. In addition, there are restrictions on their capacity, and most standard consumer power banks fall within the allowed range, but it's still something worth checking. But the biggest detail, and the one people often miss, is where you pack them. Power banks must be kept in your carry-on luggage, not in checked bags. And in some cases, they're expected to be easily accessible, not buried deep in a suitcase that's going into the overhead bin. So why all the attention on something so common? It comes down to safety. Lithium-ion batteries, which power these devices, can pose a fire risk if damaged or overheated. Airlines are taking stricter precautions to minimize that risk, especially during flights. For cruise travelers, this matters because any issue at the airport can delay your entire trip. If your bag gets flagged or held up during security screening, that's time you can't afford to lose, especially if you're on a tight schedule to reach your ship. So before you travel, double-check how many power banks you're bringing and make sure they're packed correctly. It's a small detail, but it's one that can make a big difference in getting your trip off to a smooth start. 7. Gratuity increases. Your cruise just got more expensive, and most people don't realize how much. At first glance, the increase in cruise gratuities doesn't seem like a big deal. We're talking about $1 or $2 more per day, depending on the cruise line and cabin category. But here's where it starts to matter. It's only a small increase per day, but over a week, it adds up fast. For a 7-day cruise, that extra $1 or $2 per person can turn into a noticeable jump in your overall cost, especially if you're traveling with a partner or family. And because these charges are often added daily, they can feel almost invisible until you see the final bill. That's what makes this change so easy to overlook. This is where cruise lines quietly increase revenue without raising ticket prices. Instead of increasing the upfront fare, which would be obvious to everyone, these small daily adjustments allow cruise lines to bring in more revenue while keeping advertised prices competitive. From a business perspective, it makes sense. But for passengers, it means the real cost of your cruise may be higher than you expected. So what should you do? Before you book, take a moment to calculate the full cost of your cruise, including daily gratuities. Don't just focus on the base fare. Look at the total price per person, per day, and multiply it across the length of your trip. That way, there are no surprises later. Because in 2026, it's not just about finding a good deal, it's about understanding what you're actually going to pay. 8. Pay to see your cabin. You now have to pay just to find out your room sooner. This is one of the more subtle changes, but it's definitely getting attention. Traditionally, if you booked what's known as a guarantee cabin, you'd save money by letting the cruise line assign your room for you. The trade-off? You wouldn't know your exact cabin until closer to your sailing date. Now, there's a new option. You can pay an extra fee to find out your cabin assignment earlier. On the surface, it sounds like a convenience feature. If you're someone who likes to plan ahead or prefers knowing exactly where your room is located, it might seem worth it. But here's the bigger question. Is it really adding value, or just charging for something that used to come with the experience? Honestly, this feels like monetizing uncertainty. The whole point of booking a guarantee cabin is to save money by accepting a bit of flexibility. Introducing a paid option to remove that uncertainty shifts the dynamic, and for some travelers, it might feel like an unnecessary extra. Of course, for others, the peace of mind might be worth the price. It really comes down to how much that certainty matters to you. So here's something to think about. Would you pay extra just to know your cabin sooner? Or would you rather save the money and wait? 9. Haven change. Finally, a change people actually like. Not all updates in 2026 are about restrictions, fees, or tighter rules. Some changes are genuinely improving the experience, and this is one of them. For passengers staying in premium areas like the Haven, there's now more flexibility when it comes to dining. In the past, these exclusive spaces were limited strictly to guests booked within that category. That meant if you were traveling with friends or family who weren't staying in the same area, you couldn't easily share certain experiences, like dining together in the Haven restaurant. Now, that's starting to change. Guests can invite others to join them for meals, provided there's availability and certain conditions are met. It might sound like a small adjustment, but it makes a big difference. Much better for families and groups traveling together. Cruising is often about shared experiences, spending time together, celebrating occasions, and making memories. This change makes it easier for groups to stay connected, even if they're booked in different cabin categories. It also adds more flexibility without taking away the exclusivity that premium guests expect. And compared to some of the other updates we've covered, this one feels like a step in the right direction. It's a reminder that while cruising is evolving, not every change is about adding restrictions. Some are about making the experience more enjoyable for everyone on board. Bonus, bigger trend. Here's what all of this really means. When you look at all these changes together, there's a clear pattern. Cruising in 2026 is moving toward more rules, more fees, and more control. Each change on its own might seem small, but combined, they're changing the entire experience, from how you board, to what you pay, to what you can bring. Cruising is changing, and if you don't keep up, it can cost you. That cost could be money, time, or unnecessary stress. But the advantage goes to the people who stay informed. When you know what's changed, you avoid the mistakes that catch most passengers off guard, and your trip becomes a whole lot smoother. In 2026, the difference between a stressful cruise and a smooth one often comes down to one thing: being prepared. So now you know what's changed and how to avoid the mistakes that are catching a lot of passengers off guard. But this is just part of the story. There are even more banned items cruise lines aren't clearly telling people about, and some travelers are only finding out at the port. So make sure you watch the next video, because it could save you from a frustrating start to your trip. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more cruise tips, updates, and things you need to know before you sail. Now I'm curious, which of these changes surprised you the most?